Good morning. This is Hope Reactor. Now, let's begin today's news.
Have you ever noticed that a mechanical pencil writes a thin line at first, but the letters slowly get thicker? The reason is simple. The lead does not wear down evenly. When you keep writing with the pencil at the same angle, only one side of the lead rubs against the paper. The tip gradually becomes slanted. The line gets wider. The edge may catch on the paper, and the writing can feel less consistent. So Mitsubishi Pencil asked a strange question. What if the pencil could rotate the lead by itself? That idea became Kuru Toga. And here is the surprising part. There is no battery inside. There is no motor. The power comes from the tiny pressure of your hand while you write. Inside the original Kuru Toga mechanism are 3 gears. The middle gear is connected to the part that holds the lead. When the tip touches the paper, writing pressure moves this middle gear slightly upward. When the pencil leaves the paper, it moves back down, because the middle gear meets the gears above and below at an angle. This tiny up and down movement also makes it turn, and when the gear turns, the lead turns with it. On the standard mechanism, the lead rotates about 9 degrees with each stroke. After roughly 40 strokes, it has made one full turn. Right, lift, lift. A movement we barely notice becomes the engine of a miniature machine. And there is a reason this matters. Normally, one side of the lead keeps rubbing against the paper. Eventually, the tip becomes flat and slanted. But when the lead keeps rotating, different parts of its surface touch the paper. The lead wears more evenly. That helps the tip stay more balanced and keeps the writing thin and consistent. It sounds obvious once you know the answer, but it was not obvious when development began. In 2005, Mitsubishi Pencil began serious work on a new generation of mechanical pencils. Mechanical pencils had existed for decades, so instead of asking how to completely reinvent the pencil, the developers looked for small problems that people had simply learned to accept. One of them was uneven lead wear. People often solved this problem without even realizing it. While writing, they would occasionally turn the pencil slightly in their fingers. That changed which side of the lead touched the paper. The developers asked a simple question. Why should the person have to rotate the pencil? Why not make the pencil do it? But turning that idea into a real product was much harder. Writing pressure is different for everyone. Some people press hard, others write very lightly. People hold pencils at different angles. Their strokes are different lengths. Their writing styles are different. Yet the mechanism had to work inside a pencil, small enough to hold comfortably in one hand. The developers kept experimenting. Eventually, the standard mechanism was designed to rotate the lead, about 9 degrees for each stroke. But then another problem appeared. Making the lead rotate was not enough. The pencil also had to feel good. Imagine creating a brilliant mechanism that works perfectly, but every time someone writes, they can feel the tip moving in an uncomfortable way. Technically, the invention works. As a writing tool, it fails. That became one of the biggest challenges. According to the Japan Patent Office, the development involved about 5,000 prototypes before the team achieved the writing feel they wanted. 5,000. The difficult part was no longer simply making the lead move. It was making the machine almost disappear. The mechanism needed to work inside the pencil, without constantly reminding the writer that something mechanical was moving. That is a very different kind of engineering, not adding more technology, making the technology less noticeable. After years of development, Kuru Toga was released in March 2008. Even the name explains the idea. The lead turns and stays sharp. Kuru Toga, the original annual sales target, was 800,000 units. Sales reached about 3 million. Students became especially enthusiastic users. And that makes sense. Students may write page after page of notes every day. For them, a lead that stays thin and consistent is not just an interesting trick. It solves a problem they experience again and again. That may be the most interesting part of this story. Kuru Toga was not born because people were demanding a complicated new machine. It came from noticing something people had quietly accepted. The lead wears unevenly. The letters get thicker, so people turn the pencil themselves. Someone looked at that tiny habit and asked, why should the person have to do it? Today, Kuru Toga has grown into an entire series, with newer models continuing to refine the mechanism and the writing experience. But the original idea remains beautifully simple. Your hand presses down. 3 tiny gears move. The lead turns just a little, and the next stroke begins on a slightly different surface. No battery, no motor, just the pressure of writing. The next time you pick up a mechanical pencil, look at the tip for a moment. Behind that thin piece of lead, there may be a tiny machine working almost invisibly with every stroke. Big inventions do not always begin with big problems. Sometimes they begin with one small frustration that everyone else has simply learned to live with.